live. The wait is over. Oh no.
Buy it, but it's over.
Bro, what?
The wait for Reese's PB&J cups is over. Well,
Who was waiting on this? Ugh.
That's nasty.
The wait is over. Reese's PB&J cups. And the jelly look fake. Look how fake the jelly look. No, that's ain't nothing real about that jelly.
still need to get down to the store and buy it, but it's...
That ain't the wave right there. That ain't the wave. Reese's PB&J cups. A PB&J cup is crazy. Nasty work. Who copping a Reese's peanut butter and jelly cup? Reese's peanut butter and jelly cups. The Reese's peanut butter and jelly cups. Hold on. Yeah. I wonder if I can't put my chat on the screen. I imagine anything gonna do it on the stream. You know my chat gonna turn me up. Where it, bruh? Oh no, there we go. Trying to think. Let me see. Is that mug here? Let me test this out. Alright, it is there. Bet. Yeah, that look horrible though. That look horrible.
I point to the person, then say it out loud after that. Simple as.
When people can sense danger, they either fight, fly, or freeze.
Time this side we want to be.
I think I have to fight magic with magic.
Another thing about Ironheart was funny. Apparently in Ironheart, the chick, Riri Williams, she was a robber in the show too. Like, she was literally like a robber, stealing, looting, robbing people, jugging, finessing, scamming. And she was doing that throughout the show all the way into the end where she sold her soul to the devil. Crazy. It's like, damn. Y'all just made her a villain completely.
Wait, what?
Ironheart, now streaming.
That's what I was
Trained to
talking
service
about,
and
too.
maintain aircraft systems at Universal Technical Institute. Our aviation programs provide hands-on training with engines and aircraft components while preparing students to test for FAA certification.
Bruh.
You gotta point to the person, then say it out loud after that. Simple as that, alright?
Easy.
Don't be. Huh?
Time limit this time.
And if you don't do it, you gotta take 3 shots.
Damn.
3 shots. 3 shots. Simple as that.
This might be Diddy.
Hey.
I ain't watched this in so long, but this right here, this is degeneracy right here. And it's like real Shine content have became completely degenerate. Like, I can only imagine the type of treachery that's going on in them houses that he be setting up. If you don't know, Shine is a creator who nowadays, you know, he used to do like pranks and stuff and, you know, car videos and stuff where people would chop it up, whatever he used to do. But then he started jumping on the trend where they sit up there and they get a bunch of like people, a bunch of girls, and a bunch of guys, and they essentially rent out a big house, and just throw them in there, and then just record the whole thing. As you can imagine, you know how that's gonna go. I wish this would stop doing all that crazy stuff. Chill, bro. Relax with all that. Like, you know how that's gonna go, though. When you sit up there and put people into a you give them liquor, you give niggas liquor, you give them a space, guys and girls. It's a daily mix. Sad to say, it's a daily mix. And like I said, I can only imagine the filth that goes on inside these houses that they be having. I can only imagine. But let's go.
Shut up. Like the fuck. Play on my top. Say it again, Sean. Alright. Who's more likely to? Me and Mel gonna have one person come up here one at a time. We're gonna whisper some in your ear. They're gonna point to a person first, then say it out loud, alright? Like for example, Mel telling me who's most likely to get
he gonna say something first.
pregnant. Pregnant. I'm gonna point the person first, then I'm gonna say the question out loud after.
Who the person's gonna be pregnant?
Yeah.
No, those are
This is an example.
Hopefully.
It's not those questions though, but
I might.
just don't be scary.
We get it.
Alright.
Okay.
Who wanna go first? Me?
You gotta pick somebody.
Oh, you're right. I think. Yeah, I wanna go first.
You gotta get up.
You gotta get up and come on, man. Now, if you get offended over a game, that's on you, respectfully.
Throw them bows, nigga.
Alright, first one. Don't say it out. Yo. First one. Don't say it out loud. Just read it, point to the person, and say it. Simple as that.
Oh.
Damn, that's
Damn.
Wait, him? Alright. Yo, so Tati pointed to Drake the first question. Now, can you please say the question out loud? You got it, Noah?
Okay.
Who's most likely to first day?
Ooh.
I'm sorry.
I ain't gonna lie, that's every nigga.
Don't include me.
Alright, you go sit down. Please.
I'm in the wrong house.
How they start fighting?
And y'all even being child. I fuck with her.
So?
Yeah, this is an archetype. The
that's fire, bro. That's
the
fire.
archetype of chicks they have on here.
We're gonna use arcade to get some sounds going.
Like these some grimy looking chicks, bro.
Alright, so hers was, say it.
Who's most likely to take someone's girl or guy?
Oh, she do that.
Yo, Slick, come here.
Hey, I appreciate that compliment, though. Yeah. That was a compliment, nigga.
Alright, yo! Quiet, she about to point.
I would choose him, but I'm not even going to.
You keep bullying me. I ain't saying nothing to you.
Fuck you.
Let's be honest.
Fuck you.
I said nothing to you.
It's cool because we might be best friends.
Avery, where you at for the caller?
Best friends after. We might be best friends after this.
I can see that happening.
Yo! Who's the new, y'all? Yo!
Which one?
Who is most likely to nut in 2 minutes?
Somebody make contact with me, pay like eye contact, they just like be ready to choose me.
Nah, like that is though. That's just real shit.
I think she chose you, though. She chose you.
What was the question?
The question was like, who's most likely to be the least favorite on the show?
Oh.
I like to be her.
The least favorite?
Well, I don't know.
I love her. You know what I said? I love her.
Hey, look, that's how I feel.
I love you.
I don't like her.
Hold on, everybody shut the fuck up. Everybody shut up.
There you go. There you go.
it is that one nigga.
There you go. Yeah, juice. Let me get some juice. Who calling me? Oh my God.
Because yesterday I wasn't here and everybody keeps trying to pick on her. Like, I don't like that. That's weird. That's weird. She's a badass bitch. They're like, y'all make.
God damn, she glazing. She making it worse though. She didn't realize she making it worse. She or she do. This is probably her. That look like Jamie Foxx right there. But that's probably her. You know, her manipulation tactic. You know, cause why is she hammering in on that so hard? She like, oh, I mess with her. Everybody, I don't like that. Everybody's bullying her. I don't like that. Like.
Y'all making her main attraction. Y'all keep picking on her. Y'all making her main attraction. That's what y'all doing. But everybody keep picking on her.
Stop giving these niggas what the fuck they want. This what the fuck they want. These niggas get paid for this shit. Stop taking this shit serious. This shit.
I mean, yeah, they do get paid for this. This is exactly what they want. I mean, you're here though. You talking about don't give them what they want? Though they gonna get what they want one way or another. See, she got is that liquor right there next to her? They gonna keep pumping them up with alcohol, getting them out of their body, getting them out of character, and yeah. You know they gonna get it for sure. She tweaking out. She crashing out right now.
Half of y'all hoes is older than me, almost 30, and y'all even being childish as fuck. Let that shit go. Everybody, I'm not talking about you. It's a general ass message. But
Look how everybody sat up there and just went into her face to record. She's talking about, y'all giving them what they want. You're giving them what they want, man. She didn't even realize she didn't got made a spectacle that quick. She got 1, 2, 3, 4 cameras on her. You done gave them what they want. You the spectacle now. I ain't even count the camera that we watching it through. That's 5. She got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cameras on her.
This is what we wanted. This is what we wanted, nigga. Hit by it.
Be her ass, bro. Oh, be her ass, bro. She doing it. No fighting.
I'm in a... Dang. I'm in the wrong house.
Why is they all, bruh? She got so many cameras on her right now. 1. That's another one back there. That's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's another one over here. 6.
right, come on, Sean. Come on, Sean.
7.
Sit down.
This game look hard.
Who the biggest shit talker in the room?
Hey, this dumbass nigga.
Hey, they ain't love her. She is smart as shit.
What you say?
I remember seeing this dude.
I love you so much though.
This dude be making.
She is smart as shit.
This dude right here, he be making like motivational content. I thought he was a spiritual nigga. I mean, he probably is a spiritual. You know, most people spiritual in 2025. I ain't gonna say most, but a lot of people are spiritual in 2025. That don't necessarily mean, you know, they God fearing or, you know, believe in God, read the Bible, all of that. You know, they probably just on that one stuff, that one timing, that gazer timing. You know, do what thou wilt timing. You know, I feel it's crazy how, you know, spirituality is, you know, for them, it's still, it's so easy for spirituality and all of that stuff to still be satanic. You know, when people just went from doing what thou wilt, do what they want physically, to do what thou wilt spiritually. Now you just practicing a bunch of different spiritual stuff that's still you're doing what you want, mirror gazing, sun gazing, you know, meditation. I ain't gonna say meditation, you know, as a whole, but you know that Buddhist meditation, all of that type of stuff. And I remember this dude when he was when he ain't look like this. You know, it seemed like all of these dudes, they end game is to become the same stock archetype that even that the AI is using. You know, dudes loaded with tattoos from, you know, arm, chest, all the way to your neck. It's like, I don't know, it's like a status symbol or something like that, where, you know, dudes be trying to increase their aura by loading themselves up with tattoos. But the Bible, you know, speaks against tattoos. A lot of the times people get tattoos and end up being something pagan. Like, it don't even end up being, you know, there's no good tattoos. Let me just say that first and foremost. There's no good tattoos. But people like to get tattoos and they try to get all of this spiritual and symbols and all of this stuff on their body, and all of that stuff end up being some form of idolatry. It don't even ever end up being nothing for real. Like, it's just idolatry. But like I said, there is no good tattoos. There is no tattoo that gets you exempt. You know, the Most High say what he say. He say, don't get tattoos, don't put no markers in your body. You know, I ain't got that tattoo. I was gonna get some tattoos, and then I seen that, and I'm like, well, guess I'm not getting tattoos no more. It's what it is.
I ain't gonna lie. Everybody
His turn.
him right here.
Yeah, Mario.
Alright, yo!
I'm gonna pick Mario.
Yo! Alright, he picked you. Alright, say it out loud.
What is it? Who's most likely to be somebody's bitch in jail?
Hey, come on, Mario.
Where my? It's a terrible thing to put on an individual, but we out of there, bro. We didn't get Shine 11 minutes. We didn't get Shine 11 minutes, bro. Hold on. What was that? That's probably gone. Probably disappeared. This is, bro. I don't know if y'all mess with V's, but this V's and Pierre song, this beat was so fire, bro. I heard a snippet of this. This dude V's, bro, you fumbled. V's fumbled the bag on this beat, bro. He gotta redo this. I don't know. He gotta redo this, bro. When I heard the snippet, I'm like, oh, this is about to go crazy. Because he cut it off literally right before he rapped. So all you heard was the snippet, bro. I'm about to play this.
Yo, Pierre, you wanna come out here?
That's where the snippet ended. He literally only played the intro. And then I'm like, bro, I gotta see if this song leaked. Well, really, I didn't even want to see if it leaked. I did want to see if it leaked. I did. And then what I seen was like, I'm like, bruh, what? This how you came on this beat?
Yeah, shit look fun, but it ain't little bro. Got pop beans, just stay on earth. My hoe got a gun and a go-yard perk. My outfit new like a child got birth. Bitch on the way like a surf on turf. This bitch been away, need an Amber Alert. I'm too uptight, man, pass me perk. I stand on business like a button-up shirt. You used to be my girl, where you been? I know you got a man, but I still wanna hit.
Yeah, no, bro. And I mess with V's. It's not as bad as it was the first time I heard it, but that just the beat comes on too tough. He was supposed to go way harder on that one.
This morning, on the heels of President Trump.
Elon's new political
This
party.
morning, on the heels of President Trump signing his massive domestic policy bill into law, his former close ally, Elon Musk, announcing the formation of a new political party. Musk, the world's richest person, taking to his social media site at
Elon is the richest person in the world? I didn't know that. I thought that title still went to like Bill Gates or like who's the other guy? Damn, I forget his name. Amazon guy. Y'all know who, I forgot his name, bro. What's the Amazon guy, bro? I'm gonna just look up Amazon guy. They better pop it up too. Damn. Jeff Bezos.
to say we live in a one-party system, not a democracy. Today, the America Party is formed to give you back your freedom. Musk, who is President Trump's top campaign donor, has been feuding with the president over the so-called $1 billion.
Elon going full-blown political is crazy. He's making a new party. You know, New Bree said something I didn't think about when I first sat up and recorded the video where I was talking about when he first said he was going to make the party. I said that I think Americans is too brainwashed to go beyond the blue and the red. But now that I think about it, you know, what he said is like people was not going blue no more. Like, I think the Democratic Party might actually be toast. I think Biden's job was to completely destroy the Democratic Party to the point where it's like nobody's gonna be voting blue, bro. Like, their policies is just too trash, bro. Y'all didn't put too much garbage into place. Y'all had the world. Y'all had it to where girls could sit up there and get dominated by men in sports and all of that stuff. Like, y'all just went off the deep end, bro. Y'all went off the deep end. I don't think nobody's gonna be going blue no more. So whatever color Elon go, if he talking about green, whatever his color is, there might really be an opening for him to make something shake, especially with all. We talking about the richest man in the world. We talking about the richest man in the world. He definitely should be able to make something shake. Cause I don't think people going blue no more, bro. I think it's time we lay blue to rest. You had a good run, Blue. You sat up there and gave us, I don't even know, but I don't know what y'all gave us. Besides the trash, y'all gave us Sleepy Joe. Goodbye, Blue. It's Elon time.
Big Beautiful Bill, which the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office says will add more than $3 trillion to the national debt over the next 10 years. Musk has referred to the legislation as a debt slavery bill and had been teasing a new political party for days. It's unclear if Musk has officially filed paperwork for the new party. The Tesla CEO did not respond to questions from NBC News seeking clarity about yesterday's announcement.
The stock market's at an all-time high.
For his part, President Trump has been celebrating the bill. The legislation extends the tax cuts from his first term, reduces taxes on tips and overtime pay, and provides funds for his immigration priorities. It also makes some of the biggest cuts in history to social safety net programs like Medicaid and food assistance. In Missouri, Kimberly Gallagher is worried about...
Damn, bro. Niggas about to lose their stamps. Give me my button, bro. Niggas about to lose their stamps, bro. I need a sad violin for that. Trump, bro. You really taking away the stamps, dog. Do you know how high the groceries is, bro? I can sit up there, go to the grocery store. My cart can be 25% full, and I'm already over $100. It's ridiculous. It don't make no sense. I used to be able to stretch my stuff to. I used to be able to stretch that joint to a couple of trips. Now it's one trip, 1.5 trips to the grocery store. Done. You're done. That card is toast. And now you're telling me you're cutting it? So what's about to happen? Am I about to have to go to the grocery store with $50 on the card, bro? Is that what's about to happen, bro? Sick.
How the bill's new work requirements could affect her and her son's access to Medicaid. Her son Daniel has a rare genetic disorder.
Oh, they're gonna show the worst case possible. They're gonna show the worst case possible. Like, oh, this is who you're taking the stamps away from, Mr. Trump.
And autism, and she is his primary caregiver.
Medicaid is in every facet of our life. It's not just medical, it's financial, it's care. And to lose any of those parts would drastically change our lives.
Damn. Yeah, they're gonna show the worst case for sure. They're gonna show the worst case. They're like, this is what you're doing, Trump. This is who you're taking food away from.
Well, it's
Elon Musk with his new party, he gonna sit up there, bro. He gonna have everybody in electric vehicles, and he gonna have, really, that's the prerequisite to him having everybody plugged up into pods and shipped off into the metaverse.
Be aware of what's in the one big beautiful bill that got passed by the Senate yesterday. You need to know, as a consumer, as an investor, as a person that lives and breathes in America, you need to know, because these things can affect your money. It may not, some of these things may not affect you directly, but they may affect a loved one or somebody that you know, or some.
I know
or someone that's a friend
they
of yours.
letting that AI, the floodgates of the AI go even crazier off the big beautiful bill. I don't be seeing a lot of people talk about that, but AI is going to be integrated into all of All of the workspaces. Let's see.
Right? I want you to see some of the cracks and some of the issues and some of the potential wins and opportunities that may come out of the bill. Guys, just yesterday, the Senate passed their version of the One Big Beautiful Bill. They just barely passed it by one vote. As you know, there's 2 senators for every state. We have 100 senators in America in total. And the tie-breaking person of any vote that ends up 50-50 is going to be the vice president. Well, yesterday, Vice President J.D. Vance actually was the tie-breaking vote on this Senate's version of the One Big Beautiful Bill. So this bill passed 51-50.
That's a very dumbass name. I'm not gonna be fake. Like, the Big Beautiful Bill. Why is it called that? Like, who did Trump himself come up with that name? That name is whack. Like, I ain't even saying that biasly, but that's just like a trash name. The Big Beautiful Bill. You could have just called it the Beautiful Bill. That would have been better. The Beautiful Bill. But when you throw that big on there, you just want it to be BBB, 3 B's. The Big Beautiful Bill. That's too many B's, bro. You could just went with Beautiful Bill. Or the Big Bill. I don't know. Big Ben, Big Bill, Big Beautiful Bill. Beautiful Bill. Could have been Beautiful Bill. I don't know.
Just yesterday, after a marathon, historic marathon, 40-something amendments, right? Now, with this passage of the One Big Beautiful Bill in the Senate, because it had some amendments, it has to go back through the...
Is it called the One Big Beautiful Bill? Man, Trump had to make that up. One Big Beautiful Bill.
House, and the House has to approve it as well. So it's not law yet. Still has to be voted on in the House, and the president still has to sign it. And the president is hoping to sign it by July 4th, which is just a couple of days from now, right? What better theater would it be politically to sign the One Big Beautiful Bill on July 4th? I think that's what President Trump and his camp is really looking forward to. Now, I want to break down some key elements of the One Big Beautiful Bill that passed the Senate, because if you remember, just a few weeks ago, we had the One Big Beautiful Bill that passed the House. Now we have one that passed the Senate, and the Senate is looking for House approval. However, we need to know some of the things that are in this thing in terms of how it will affect us as consumers, as investors, as Americans, what have you. So the first thing that I think is important to point out is the fact that 2017 tax cuts that were about to expire are now going to be extended in the Senate's version of the One Big Beautiful Bill. They're going to be extended until 2035. That means lower income tax rates for most people, especially those that are high earners, right? So we got to be real, right? This bill, the extension of the tax cuts really helps the high earning people in America, even more so than it helps the lower income earners. Now,
damn.
That's good for some additional cash. We know that. But it also adds trillions of dollars to the national debt. And that's a big point of contention from the other side of the aisle, who is saying, wait a minute, I thought you guys on the right side of the aisle, the Republican side of the aisle, didn't like increasing the national debt, which there's some hard-line Republicans that still don't want to increase the national debt. So that's been a big point of contention about this whole One Big Beautiful Bill, was the fact that it's going to really increase the national debt. Some folks say between $3 and $5 trillion, it's going to bump that thing way up. Now, if you have a job where you get overtime or you get some type of tips, this bill allows you to deduct some of that, up to $12,000 of it, every single year off of your taxes. So more take-home pay for the waiters and waitresses and the delivery folks that are out there making money off tips. More take-home for you, right? The bartenders and so forth. But those that work overtime, the nurses, the warehouse workers, the truck drivers, the people that work at the railroad who are working overtime, all of you, it's a win for all the people that are working overtime. That's a good thing. Another important provision or part of this bill, child tax credits, they got tweaked a little bit with the Senate version of the One Big Beautiful Bill. You'll get $2,500 per kid for a few more years. But after the year 2028, that drops down to $2,200 for a child tax credit. So no inflation adjustment up, right? It's
to 2028. I mean, they give y'all some time. 2028. Cause I know people be running it up off the child tax credit stuff. They be like, bro, I done got 30 bands back on the taxes. You know, I don't know if it's that much, but you know, I hear it's a lot.
slowly goes away
Off of the
with this
kids.
bill, right? So that's a help. Not a big game changer, right? But it's a help for some people that have children. But again, hey, I always say you don't want to rely on child tax credits, right? You want to build your own safety net. But the other issue on this particular one big beautiful bill that passed the Senate yesterday is that the state and local tax, what they call the SALT tax, the state and local tax increases up to $40,000, right? From the previous $10,000. Now, so $40,000 state and local tax deduction, but only for 5 years, right? That SALT tax on this particular version of the bill is only going to last 5 years. So that's really going to benefit homeowners in high tax states, you know, the New Jerseys, the Californias, the New Yorks, right? If you're not in one of those high tax states, this one probably doesn't move the needle for you. And then of course you got those MAGA savings accounts, right? That you can open tax free, and you can put in about $5,000 a year into that MAGA savings account. And if you got children,
MAGA savings accounts.
the government throws in an additional $1,000 per kid into that account as a match. That's what the MAGA accounts are all about that you hear
I gotta be MAGA to get a MAGA savings account?
about, right? It's basically a baby Roth IRA that has a MAGA name thrown on it, right? You want to use it. If this bill passes, you want to use it because free money is free money, right? And then you got the remittance tax that was changed. So the remittance...
You probably got to submit proof that you done voted and everything for that. That wouldn't be me. Damn. So much for my MAGA savings.
Tax, guys, is when you live here in America and you want to send money overseas to, say, a family member. So that's called a remittance tax. You got to pay a tax on that money that you send out. So now with this bill, there's a 3.5% tax on those international money transfers, right? It was a 5%. Now it's 3.5%. So a little bit better, but it's still a pain for people who live in America and want to send money overseas, right? Whether it's 3.5% or 5%. Now it's 3.5% in this particular bill. Now, another thing about this bill is that if you're a bigger business, you get a chance to write off new equipment and new machinery right away instead of having to do that over time. Now, this helps those tech companies and those industrial companies, right? They get help by this, right? So if you're investing in the stock market, maybe you...
I ain't heard nothing good yet that applied to me. I'm just waiting on something good that I can use. Like, damn. All I know is niggas might be losing them stamps. All I know is niggas might be losing them damn stamps. Sick about it.
Want to watch those type of companies because if this bill passes, it's going to help and benefit those type of companies. Now, one big thing about this bill is the $900 billion cut from Medicaid. Yep, that's almost $1 trillion being cut off of Medicaid over the next 10 years. Now, obviously, that's going to hurt low-income people. And it means that millions of people could lose coverage, Medicaid coverage. And so if you're a low-income person or you're a person on disability, it could have an effect on you. Not to mention the work requirements for people on Medicaid. This is another big piece of this one big beautiful bill that passed the Senate. So the bill says that if you're between the ages of 19 and 55 and you're not working at least 20 hours a week, you could lose your Medicaid. Now that might sound fair or not fair, however you sit on the pendulum of whether you agree or disagree with it. Yes, let me know in the comments below, what do you think about the Medicaid cuts and the having to go back to work if you're an able-bodied person? Do you think that's a good thing in the bill, or do you think it's a bad thing? Let me know.
They said y'all better get back to work. I done ran across so many people. Out and about, out in the world, who was living off of that. People who ain't working, they really living off them programs. Either besides overtime and overtime not guaranteed. Man.
Know in the comments below. I'm curious how you think. Now, another provision in this bill, the one big beautiful bill, is the food stamp changes, or they call them SNAP nowadays. The changes in the SNAP program. One of the changes is that states are going to now be zapped and get hit with penalties if they have issues with the SNAP program. And there's more work rules involving SNAP as well. People that are receiving some type of benefit from the government in terms of food stamps, right? So less flexibility. And it may mean that more people are going to fall in the cracks and not have the ability to receive food stamps or SNAP. And so what I'm doing here, guys, is I'm laying this thing out.
It's already hard for people to get stamps. Shoot, I got in there. I slid my way on in there, you know. But shit, they cannot do this, bro. They can't do this. They can't do this to us.
Out to you. I'm not taking a side one way or the other. I just want you to be aware of what's in the one big beautiful bill that got passed by the Senate yesterday. You need to know, as a consumer, as an investor, as a person that lives and breathes in America, you need to know, because these things can affect your money. It may not, some of these things may not affect you directly, but they may affect a loved one or somebody that you know or someone that's a friend of yours, right? Somebody in your network of people could be affected by this bill if it turns into law, passes the House and turns into law. Now, another big piece of this bill is the massive spending on border security, right? That's on patrols, border wall security, detention centers, technology to secure the border wall, all that type of stuff. That's huge, right? That's going to affect immigration and ultimately the labor market. So that matters. $350 billion put towards that wall, and securing that wall is a big deal. That's a big piece of our money going towards it. And also in the bill, on the same note, is the fact that ICE's budget goes way up. That's over $100 billion is in this bill for ICE. That's deportations, that's detentions, that's paying to hire new agents.
Uh-oh. They about to have ICE out there like the Avengers. They about to suit them up with motherfucking Tony Stark armors, bro. They about to be they about to be out there. They about to be out there. ICE about to be moving around in armor, bro. They about to have repulsor blasts. They gonna be jumping off shield helicarriers. ICE about to be out there suited and booted. Man, they about to sue ICE all the way up.
Lots of stuff in terms of ICE is in this bill. If you're an undocumented immigrant, things may get a little tougher for you. But if you're an investor, you got to think about this. As an investor, think about defense, security. Companies that are going to be providing that for America may see a boost in their stock. Just giving you a heads up. Listen, in the stock market, as investors in the stock market, when you see this type of thing happening, the wheels in your mind should be turning about, okay, what does that mean for the companies that may be providing the types of services that are now going to be increasing in dollars? You got to be thinking about that as an investor. This is not to make light of the seriousness of this.
That's some sauce. He give us that's some sauce right there. He said, look into them security companies as far as stock investments. Security companies. Take some notes there.
This bill, or the people that may be hurt by the bill, or the people that may be helped by the bill. It's not to sway one way or the other. It's to say, as an investor, you should be looking at this strategically. And this is one of the reasons I'm explaining to you some things in the bill, because I want you to see some of the cracks and some of the issues and some of the potential wins and opportunities that may come out of the bill. And when you're talking about defense companies and companies that specialize in tech or security, there could be some wins there if you're an investor, right? Because you're talking about military and defense, an increase. Part of this bill is an increase of $150 billion for drone technology and the Pentagon spending, right? That's another big piece, all right? That's your Lockheed, your Raytheon, and your defense ETFs and index funds that are out there. All those things could benefit, right? Some of those wartime type stocks, although we're not technically in a war, so to speak, some of those stocks could see a benefit because of this bill and the passage of the bill, right? And then you got, with the House version of this bill, you had some limiting of tech and AI. But with the Senate version, you see a more open stance towards AI. Just a heads up for you if you're looking at AI and AI stocks. Then also you have these clean energy tax credits being slashed, right? So this emphasis on clean energy the last 3, 4, 5 years, you see some of that going away with the version that was passed by the Senate yesterday. That's your solar energy, your wind energy, your EV, right? Electric vehicle energy, right? All of those companies and people that sell that stuff, they're going to see it. They're going to lose a little momentum potentially if this bill passes the House. Now, not to mention, this is one that people didn't really know much about, but there's...
Hold on. That's why Elon is mad. Oh, this is a dirty game. That's why Elon mad. Elon don't care about no dang American citizens. I knew he. I'm like, this dude do not care about American citizens, bro. This is the same dude that said AI is a demon that he's letting out onto the world, and he said it with confidence. He did not care that he said AI is a demon, a beast, or whatever he called it. And he said, yeah, we're letting out the devil with this one. We're letting out the demons with these. And you putting that in humanity, but yet you coming out of nowhere talking about, oh, Trump is doing this and that. He on Twitter crying, talking about what Trump is doing and how much he hate the big beautiful bill and all of that. Whole time, this dude Elon want everybody to be on electric vehicles, and this bill is looking like it's against that in some kind of way. You know, I didn't hear all of the schematics of how exactly, but you know, he say electric vehicles and stuff is about to take a hit, and all of that type of stuff. So that's what's pissing Elon off. He don't care about no American citizens. He worried about his robo cars not being on the road how he want them to be. Let's hear that again though.
Right? So this emphasis on clean energy the last 3, 4, 5 years, you see some of that going away with the version that was passed by the Senate yesterday. That's your solar energy, your wind energy, your EV, right? Electric vehicle energy, right? All of those companies and people that sell that stuff, they're going to see it. They're going to lose a little momentum potentially if this bill passes the House. Now, not to mention, this is one that people didn't really know much about, but there's a $50 billion in this bill to save some rural hospitals that may be out in more remote areas of America. There's a piece of this bill, or at least provisions in this bill, to save face for a lot of them. Good move if you live in a small town, which there are still a lot of people that don't live in the top 10, 20 metropolitan areas of America. There's still lots of folks in rural areas and small, more rural counties in America. Lots of Americans are still there. And so this sort of helps them out as well. Also, there's a tax reduction that is reduced with this bill for the more elite universities that have I think it's an endowment of over $5 billion. If your endowment is over $5 billion and you have under 3,000 students, this bill says that we're gonna now tax you 1.5%. Now look, for everyday people, not a big deal. But this provision in this bill sort of sends a message to, you know, your Princetons and your Harvards that are out there, right? Saying, hey, we're going to tax you if you don't have a big enrollment and you have a sort of a larger endowment of over $5 billion or more. Also, not to mention, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau also is going to see a cut in this particular bill. Which
that just made me think about, I used to have a dean. I used to have a dean in my school, in middle school. His name was Mr. Elamine. And one of his things they used to always say that everybody used to meme and joke on him for saying, he used to be like, he used to go on these lectures, but in the lecture he would just always say, they closing schools and they building prisons. And then all the students used to just mock him and say that. They used to be like, they closing schools and they building prisons. Now, he was trying to put us on game. But, you know, you can only give a 10-year-old so much game. You know, they only gonna be able to receive so much game as a 10-year-old. I was still playing with toys at the time. I wasn't receptive to all of that woke stuff back in the day. I wasn't. Not at 10. I wasn't. So, but he used to just be like, they closing schools and they building prisons. It sounded like, you know, we heading more into that direction. With, you know, what it sound like, you talking about you about to start taxing these schools and stuff like that. If they ain't got high attendance and all of that, that sound like less schools. But let's go.
Translation, that sort of means that there's going to be fewer people, if this bill passes, fewer people watching out for the shady folks out there, right? The bogus credit schemes and all that. So just be aware of that as well, right? If this bill passes, there's going to be less money put towards watching some of that stuff. So just be aware of that as a consumer, as an investor, as a person that's watching YouTube and podcasts and listening to podcasts. You need to be aware that maybe if this bill passes, there's going to be less money for those type of provisions set aside to monitor and check on that stuff. Just be aware. Now, one of the big areas of this, guys, is the debt ceiling. This bill is going to raise the debt ceiling by $5 trillion. If you pay attention to any of this stuff, you know that every couple of years, the Democrats and the Republicans are fighting against raising the debt ceiling, right? Obviously, they're going to raise the national debt. The national debt's going to go up because of this bill if it passes. But they're saying in this bill, we're going to raise the debt ceiling automatically. So we won't fuss and fight about it over the next 2 or 3 years, but 3 or 4 years later, they'll be fussing and fighting about it again. All that means is this: when the debt ceiling goes up by this $5 trillion, if this bill passes, it means the government can borrow a whole lot more money, basically, which means that it's definitely going to push the national debt towards 40 trillion or even over 40 trillion by probably the year 2029, 2030. Now, this bill is called the One Big Beautiful Bill, but here's the deal. It is a massive bill. It's a huge bill. It's got something for everybody to like, and it's probably got something for everybody to not like. If you're a worker and you're working overtime or you're getting tips, hooray, good for you, fantastic. This is going to help you out. If you're an investor, maybe you want to focus on more of the fossil fuels and less on the solar and the wind energy stuff. Maybe you want to focus on some of the defense stocks, right? Maybe big business and AI, because they stand to all benefit from this One Big Beautiful Bill. But if you depend on food stamps or SNAP and Medicaid and those types of things, or even affordable health care, right? Those things could be in danger for you, right? Or there may be certain...
Yeah, a lot of people ain't gonna make it through this Trump stuff. Trump is coming. He ain't with all of that living off the system, coasting by. You know, I believe it was a tweet that he said he had made where he said only the strong gonna survive. He said only the strong gonna survive. So, you know, this bill is in. It seems like for the most part the bill is in support, or it's like it's good for the rich and it's good for, you know, independent business owners, investors, even the working class in a way. You know, it's good for the people working overtime, working a lot of overtime and stuff like that. So it's like he's trying to have it, you know, green for like people who work hard in a way. You know, he ain't trying to, cause it's not getting rich and getting wealth and maintaining wealth is not easy. You know, that's a hard thing to do. So, which is why it's a lot of people who aren't on that level. But, you know, we just got to get on that level. You know, and if we on that level, you know, we got to maintain that level. Maintain that same, you know, we gonna have to survive what's going on in America. You know, he really trying to X out, and I ain't even trying to say to people who live on assistance and all of that stuff is lazy or nothing like that. But in my line of work, I've dealt with a lot of people who was like able to work, completely able to work. I've ran into people who's completely able to work, could do it, whatever, but they just completely content on living off the system. They content off of paying $18 for $20 a month for rent, you know, in the Section 8. They content with getting their food stamps and just having the government, you know, basically baby feed them. And, you know, he's trying to cut all of that type of stuff out. You know, that's why he's saying, again, only the strong gonna survive. And, you know, not everybody is a case like that. You know, it's regular people who, you know, just trying to do what they can and they still rely on their assistance. But, you know, we got to sit up there, you know, we can't do nothing. We can't cry over the spilled milk. We can't sit up there and reverse what's going on. All you can do is adapt, adjust, and overcome. So, you know, if this bill is in favor of the rich, got to get rich. I mean, if it's for the wealthy, we gotta get wealthy. We gotta sit up there and benefit off of this. You know, I ain't about to be a victim. I'm sorry.
Shazam!
I'm sorry. I'm not about to be a victim. I'm not going outside like that. I ain't about to sit up there and lose it all and be like, oh, the bill. You know, I ain't about to fall off and be like, oh, they be like, what happened to you? Man, Trump and the big beautiful bill, man. He sat up there and took everything away. Like, no, bro. No, we're not coming at. You know, you say only the strongest survive. You know I'm strong. I know I can survive. You know, it is what it is. I'm going to make something shake regardless. So, you know, that's my thoughts on that. I ain't going outside, though. I know that for sure. I ain't going outside. I don't need none of that shit. I don't need it. So, you know, that's the video. This ain't even really a video. I just was chilling, you know, on the live stream. My camera dying and stuff. It's about to die again. I'm ready to eat for real, so I'm about to hop off here. Appreciate everybody that tapped in. Love y'all. Take care. Stay safe. I'm on y'all, boys.
One more treat, bitch, I'm gone. One more hit, bitch, I'm gone. Brand new whip, bitch, I'm gone. Brand new crib, yeah, I'm home. Bitch, we home, yeah, we grown. One more treat, bitch, I'm gone. One more hit, bitch, I'm gone. One more hit, yeah, we gone. Yeah.